What is up, Dynasty Leaguers? Welcome back into another DLF YouTube channel video. We're going to be continuing to do these mock drafts, these rookie mock drafts, where I grab actual teams and rosters and draft picks from you guys down in the comment section. This has been really fun for me personally to do, and then I've received a lot of awesome and positive feedback on this new type of a format for these rookie mock drafts. So we're going to continue to do these because I got a lot of requests to do this basically over the next couple of weeks as well. We're going to be doubling and potentially tripling up on these because a lot of you guys are drafting at the end of May here, the beginning of June, all the way into July and August. So we're going to continue to be doing those as much as you guys continue to give me teams to do, because I really enjoy doing these, and you guys seem to really enjoy watching and listening and asking for me to do your rosters and stuff. So we're going to continue to do this today. Today, we have another one, a team that is drafting. They said later this weekend on May 29th, so good luck. This one comes to me from the DragonWriter down in the comments down below. It is a 12-team PPR, 2-quarterback, 1.5 tight end premium league with 2 first-round picks here to draft and talk through. So there's a lot to discuss, so we can get right into this video. So like I said at the top of the introduction, this is going to be a 2-quarterback rookie mock draft. So unfortunately, we don't have 2-quarterback in the actual, the tool, but we're going to be treating it as a Superflex mock draft. The ADP might vary a little bit. Quarterbacks in the 2-quarterback draft might be bumped up a little bit more than what is actually happening here. But we're going to be treating this as, at least for the terms of the app, a Superflex draft. We got a 1.5 tight end premium for PPR as well, which basically only really affects, in my opinion, Kyle Pitts, to bump him up just a little bit more than what he's already going right now in like the middle of the first and Superflex leagues. Pat Freiermuth might be the second guy, but he's basically already a 3rd or a 2nd round pick, and I don't think he really gets bumped up all that much in a 1.5 tight end premium PPR league. But we got some stuff to discuss because I think this team is really interesting. So we can get right into it. This team coming to us from the DragonWriter. So let's look at this one. 12-team, 2-quarterback, 2 running backs, 2 wide receiver, a tight end, and 2 flex is the starting position. So at quarterback, he's got Kyler Murray and Tom Brady at starters as his 2 quarterbacks, which is really good. You'll want somebody to come in, obviously, to replace Tom Brady whenever he actually decides to go on his way out. But for now, that looks pretty solid. And then Jacoby Brissett as the backup. Running back needs a lot of help here. He's got Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, and Darrell Henderson are his only 3 running backs that he gave me as a note on here. And he needs to start 2 of those weekly, so he needs some running back help. Wide receiver, he's looking really good. He's got Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, Adam Thielen, Robert Woods, DJ Chark, Tyler Boyd, and Darnell Mooney. So looking really good there. And can start 2 of those guys and then an additional 2 of them in the flex. So you're probably looking at starting Amari Cooper, T. Higgins, Adam Thielen, and Robert Woods, with potentially throwing in Boyd, Chark, or Mooney whenever bye weeks or maybe better matchups come in. And then at tight end, he's got Darren Waller and Rob Gronkowski. So the tight end position looking really good as well. So let's now look at the picks that we have here for the DragonWriter. Like I said, we have 2 first-round picks, a couple other 3rds, a couple other 4ths, and then the 5-12 to clean this one out. So basically, we're going to be focusing primarily on these 2 first-round picks because I think that they can impact this team the most. Obviously, they're first-rounders. And then we can talk about these deep dart throws in the 3rd and the 4th round. So let's just get right into this because we have the 1.01. And the 1.01 in a Superflex in a 2 QB league, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. Regardless of anything else, it's Trevor Lawrence. It's like the easiest pick ever, in my opinion. The other argument that you can make for this 1.01 is to actually trade out of it, to trade out of the 101 and try to trade down a couple picks. In my opinion, and my advice would be specifically for this team and for DragonWriter, looking at your quarterbacks being Kyler Murray and then Tom Brady and nobody else after him, is I would still want to be in the range where you can draft a quarterback. I still want to be able to get, Trey Lance or Justin Fields. Those would be basically the other 2 quarterbacks that I would drop down for. Not maybe so much Zach Wilson or Mac Jones, but if you can move down from the 101 to the 102, the 103, the 104 might be risky, even though Justin Fields went here. I'm not sure if Najee Harris would be taken above him in a 2-quarterback league. But if you can drop down a couple of spots, pick up some extra draft capital in this draft, maybe you get, like an early 2nd round pick or a mid 2nd round pick or something like that, extra draft capital to be able to drop down from Trevor Lawrence to another quarterback and pick up another dart throw, I think would also be super beneficial for this team and something that I would really be looking to do as well. If you're not able to do that, I am absolutely on board with just drafting Trevor Lawrence and just calling it a day, because he can come in and immediately be a quarterback 2 type of a starter for you. You can swap him in with Tom Brady or Kyler Murray based on matchups, injuries, bye weeks. The bye week thing just in particular is going to be really, really beneficial, because if you're starting 2 quarterbacks every week, it's not a super flex. You're starting 2 quarterbacks. If, Tom Brady and Kyler Murray when they're both on byes, you're starting Jacoby Brissett, and you're basically taking a 0 at one of your positions. So being able to have a 3rd starting quarterback just to get you points, let alone a potential Trevor Lawrence type of a quarterback, is super beneficial throughout an entire season's worth of fantasy football. So I'm looking to grab a quarterback no matter what at the top of the 1st round here. If it's Trevor Lawrence, if we trade back a couple picks for Trey Lance or Justin Fields, that's really what I'm looking to do. So then we're here at the 1.09. The rest of the 1st round went Trey Lance, Najee Harris, Justin Fields, Jamar Chase, Kyle Pitts, Zach Wilson, and then Travis Etienne. Basically, my assumption would be this is actually the cohort of players that are drafted between the 101 and the 1.09 in some sort of an order here. So we have a decision basically between every single wide receiver after Jamar Chase. We have Mac Jones at quarterback. We're not really looking at the tight end position, or we could try to finish out the top tier of the running backs by closing out with Javonte Williams to add to Travis Etienne and Najee Harris being already off the board. In my opinion, looking at this team as well, I think that the easy pick is Javonte Williams for a couple of reasons. One, it closes out a tier. There's a massive tier drop after Javonte Williams, in my opinion, down to Michael Carter and Trey Sermon. After those two, it's an enormous tier drop down to a whole bunch of dart throw backups, and you don't really want to mess with any of those guys, especially with the team that we have going on here, where your starting running backs are Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert. So I think adding Javonte Williams is super, super critical and beneficial here to be able to add that running back at the 1.09. And if it turns out that Travis Etienne and Javonte Williams are both there at the 109 somehow, then I would take Travis Etienne. But the way that this mock draft worked out, Javonte Williams was the last pick there, the last running back available in this 1st round, and I am all over drafting Javonte Williams. You can be able to plug him in almost basically immediately with your running back depth, and the way it is right now, you can plug him in over Chase Edmonds and start him with Raheem Mostert as your RB1 and your RB2, and then let Javonte progress naturally in the NFL through his development across from Melvin Gordon in 2021. I'd expect Melvin Gordon's not there in 2022, in which case I do believe that the Broncos drafted him to be their starting running back moving forward after 2021. So wheels up on taking Javonte there at the 1.09, and I like that a lot, and passing on Mac Jones, another quarterback, because we already got a quarterback earlier, and all of these other wide receivers, because the wide receiver depth is already really solid. I mean, you got all those other wide receivers I named, like Amari, T. Higgins, Adam Thielen, Robert Woods, and then Chark and Boyd and Mooney. You don't need a top wide receiver to add on top of that. Draft the running back to fill in need, but also fill in with value as well from the draft board. So we're here now at the 3.04. This is where things start to get dicey. You start to have some more, dart throws types of players and stuff. What I would really recommend, and I think would be really beneficial as well, is to try to move some of your 3rds and 4ths and stuff, like package some of that stuff, maybe add a Darnell Mooney or a Tyler Boyd. Try to get into this 2nd round range right here. If you can get into a point where you can draft and basically replace Tyler Boyd with one of these wide receivers, I think would be really, really good. Maybe not Terrace Marshall or Kadarius Toney, but one of the Moores, Waddle, Bateman, I think would be really, really good. Or, you could try to get into the Michael Carter, Trey Sermon territory, double up on these, running backs from this class, and try to take a shot on grabbing 2 starting running backs for your running back depth, to add to now Javonte Williams and Raheem Mostert and Chase Edmonds. grabbing another guy just to have as a depth play, but also potential plug and play during bye weeks or as your new RB2 or flex as well. I think that would be really, really good. But we're working with the draft picks that we have right now. So at the 3.04 here, and basically the rest of these picks, the 312, the 2/4, and the 5th, I'm going to be looking for basically wide receivers because I think the running backs is kind of iffy, although there are some really good running backs here at 3.04. The first one that I would be looking at here at 304, there's some wide receivers that I like, and like more than others. I don't really like a lot of these wide receivers just in general after basically the Kadarius Toney route, and Dyami Brown's pretty solid too, and Amon-Ra St. Brown, but they're gone. They're going to be gone by this pick. So here, you could go the Nico Collins route. I think that's pretty solid. You could go for draft capital with Dwayne Eskridge, Josh Palmer, guys like that. I'm going to look to add to the running back depth. And basically, that's just my personal strategy as well. As once I hit like 3rd or 4th rounds, I'm looking for dart throw running backs that I can, try to go for and see if they can actually gain a role on a team. Bearing in mind draft capital as well, I'm not really looking for like a Javian Hawkins or something like that, who was like an undrafted free agent who had potential to make the Atlanta Falcons and stuff. Not going for that route, especially not in the 3rd round, maybe later. But here I would be looking at Rhamondre Stevenson. Stevenson is already being rumored and reported to be pushing Sony Michel out of the New England Patriots roster entirely. Drafting Rhamondre Stevenson to replace Sony Michel, who has been kind of a disappointment for the New England Patriots and often injured. So that backfield could basically be Damian Harris and then James White and Rhamondre Stevenson. So if anything happens to Damian Harris, Rhamondre Stevenson could pretty easily just come in and be that, 1st and 2nd down running back. He's not going to overtake James White for pass catching role unless James White gets hurt. But, he could pretty easily ascend to, a 1st or 2nd down role in this New England Patriots offense, which is, kind of valuable. And especially with the depth chart that you have with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert and now Javonte Williams, could absolutely be a guy that you can just plug in and hopes maybe, grabs 7 or 8 carries for 40 yards, maybe finds the end zone, if Damian Harris is still playing, just as like a spell type of a guy in that Patriots offense, let alone the fact that he could, like I said, ascend if Damian Harris does get hurt and Sony Michel is cut. So I like drafting Rhamondre Stevenson there at the 3.04. So now we're at 312 again. This one, I'm just going to grab my guy. I'm grabbing my dude Elijah Mitchell. I really like the discount on the San Francisco 49ers backfield going from Trey Sermon, who went at the 2.08 here. If not, ADP wise, he might even be higher in the 2nd round in Superflex and 2 quarterback drafts. But that 1.5 to potentially even 2 rounds of a discount going from Trey Sermon to Elijah Mitchell is just so insane to me. I think Elijah Mitchell's better than Trey Sermon. And I already have been hearing rumors and reports that Elijah Mitchell is impressing the San Francisco 49ers in rookie minicamp with his pass catching abilities. If he comes in and replaces like Jerick McKinnon on this depth chart, Jerick McKinnon had a couple valuable weeks last year for the San Francisco 49ers backfield. And if Elijah Mitchell sees any playing time at all, we know Kyle Shanahan can make him a valuable fantasy option. It's just you got to wait his turn. So I like just being able to have Elijah Mitchell, stash him, wait it out, see what happens, hope that he gets on the field, because when he does, he could definitely be a starter on this team to add to this running back depth as well. So I like grabbing my boy Elijah Mitchell there at the 312, and we're up again at the 4.04 already. This is probably a point where I would be looking at potentially grabbing a quarterback, even though most of the quarterbacks are already gone, like Kyle Trask and Kellen Mond. I do think it's interesting here that Davis Mills is still there, who could absolutely be a really good 4th round shot in case of anything with Deshaun Watson and stuff. If he does end up missing the entire 2021 season, Davis Mills could be in line for some sort of a starter role. Ian Book would also be really interesting as a potential future New Orleans Saints starter quarterback. I'm not really expecting much out of either one of those 2 guys, but they have potential and they have upside as starters. And in 2 quarterbacks, that is very, very valuable to have on your roster. You can also look at the wide receivers. Josh Palmer's still there. I mentioned him as potential for, the 3.04. He's still here at 4.04. Dwayne Eskridge as well. Tutu Atwell, I think, could be a really good pick too. You could also go the running back route, again, just adding to the depth. Khalil Herbert being here for the Chicago Bears as the primary backup to David Montgomery. Similar to Rhamondre Stevenson, if anything happens to David Montgomery, Khalil Herbert could be in line for that first and second down role because he's not going to beat out Tariq Cohen for the third down pass catching role. But if anything happens to David Montgomery, and it's had happened in the past, you know, Khalil Herbert could be in line for that type of a role. Same for Chris Evans with Joe Mixon as well. And Demetric Felton could be interesting. You can make a case for all of these guys, basically. So it's just, you know, kind of pick the best one. For me, I'm just going to go with Khalil Herbert just because I don't want to take that dart throw on a wide receiver because the wide receiver depth is already so full on this team with all the other wide receivers that you do have. So I'm just going to take that Khalil Herbert and then see what comes back to me at the 412 right here, which coincidentally enough, you know, we have Davis Mills still here. So I'm just going to take Davis Mills, just grabbing that quarterback. I don't even know why he's still there at the 412. But, you know, we're doing it, and that was pretty easy pick to me. So let's round out this draft here. Let's close it out. 512. This could be whoever you want. It's kind of a dart throw at this point. Some okay options for guys to really just, you know, throw a dart on with Jamie Newman, Jaret Patterson, Daz Newsome. You know, I don't even know who this guy is. Wow, that is a heck of a last name. You know, Simi Fehoko with the Dallas Cowboys. You know, you can go with whoever you want here. For me, I think I'm just going to go with another running back. I'm just going to go with Jaret Patterson, who weirdly made it out of the NFL draft without being drafted. So was a high valued and high priced UDFA in terms of Dynasty in the fantasy community, watching where he was going to go, ending up with the Washington football team. I think isn't fantastic, but isn't, you know, the worst. And could absolutely carve out a role there on that team as well. So basically the name of the game for this draft and for this team from DragonWriter is quarterback at the top of the first, just to solidify that quarterback position in a 2 QB league, especially to insulate yourself from when Tom Brady actually does retire and move on, while also adding a valuable QB3 to be able to plug and play during bye weeks in case of injuries and stuff, and not taking donuts at the quarterback position. Then the rest of the draft, if you're not able to trade up into the second round here to grab a Michael Carter, Trey Sermon, or replace one of your back-end wide receivers with one of the Moores or Rashad Bateman or something, the name of the game then was just filling out the running back depth. Rhamondre Stevenson, Elijah Mitchell, Khalil Herbert, Jaret Patterson, filling out those running backs to be able to try and, you know, take shots on guys who could potentially see the field and, you know, be a plug and play type of a starter for you in your RB1, your RB2, or one of your flex spots, because, you know, the depth was lacking. The depth wasn't there with Chase Edmonds and Raheem Mostert. So adding that depth, I think, was very, very crucial for this rookie draft. So DragonWriter, I hope that this helped. I hope that maybe the strategies were pretty similar or in line with what you were already anticipating on doing. Maybe I shined a light on something a little bit different for you to go about this rookie draft, but I hope that it did end up helping, and good luck this weekend on May 29th in your rookie draft. Definitely let me know how that ended up and how that went. To everybody else who tuned in and watched, I hope that maybe if you were in a similar situation, this was valuable for you guys as well, or if you just enjoyed seeing some more of these videos with the context applied of a real team with real draft picks from a real league, and seeing what I would actually do and apply some context to it all and stuff. So thank you all so much for watching, for tuning in. With that all being said, guys, we'll catch y'all later.